Welcome back to Real Talk. It's episode 196. I'm your host, Nathan. I'm joined by the man himself, Matthew Neves, to my left. And today we are going to be reviewing Joseph Kosinski's latest film, F1.
F1, baby.
F1 is finally here. Super anticipated hype movie of the year. A summer blockbuster by Joseph Kosinski coming off of Top Gun Maverick,
Yep.
starring Brad Pitt. This movie follows Brad Pitt playing Sonny Hayes, a retired F1 driver who makes a dramatic comeback partnering with rising rookie Joshua Pierce, played by Damson Idris, and a struggling Apex GP team, battling real-world F1 icons and confronting his past.
So this was a given. This was going to be my most hyped film of the year. We saw so many trailers of this movie, and they were all really fucking good. So keeping that in mind, all right? Like, I saw this in IMAX, big screen. This is it. This is the fucking racing movie to end all racing movies.
It's the apex mountain of racing movies. Visually, I don't think it could get more impressive than this.
No, exactly. Especially with its budget. Like, there were times in the movie where you're watching and you're like, holy fuck, this movie's expensive.
Oh yeah, the
You
money
can feel
is
it.
on screen for sure.
And it shows within probably my favorite part of this movie is the racing scenes. It's so authentic. It's so like realistic. It's so grounded. I think the editing of it too is really, really well done. Sound mixing as well.
Incredible.
Top tier. Just like Top Gun Maverick with, with the sound mixing within that film as well. And it's this beautiful indication that it's like we want to see something more authentic. We want to see something more grounded. It doesn't need to be end of the world. This is
Yeah,
just a racing film. And I
that's
feel
right.
like this movie is going to be more impactful than a lot of films that are trying the end of the world type of thing, like Fantastic Four and Superman, you know?
Absolutely. This is such a cool look into the F1 world.
Hmm.
And it's grounded and feels real because it was.
Yeah.
They were at the stops of the F1
Hmm.
races. So they were
Yeah.
following F1 and shooting on race day,
Hmm.
on location.
Yeah.
When you see Brad Pitt standing for the national anthem in line with all the other racers,
Yeah.
that happened.
Oh, yeah.
They built a team. They had a garage next to Ferrari
Oh,
for
fuck,
that
man.
season.
Jesus.
Brad Pitt is driving this car. Damson Idris is driving this car.
Hmm.
It's incredible.
It's amazing because of the fact that there is still a limit within this where it's like I think I read an interview on Brad Pitt talking about it. He's like, "Are you gonna do like Tom Cruise stunts? Are you gonna do this?" And he's like, "Fuck no! Like I know my limit.
No,
Okay, like I'll be in the car,
this is
but
not
I'm not
that.
exactly. But he's not going super crazy.
No.
Obviously not. There's shots in the movie where it's like, okay, obviously that's Brad Pitt in the car, but there's also shots that are like so well meticulously choreographed that I'm like, okay, they clearly had someone else to do that. That is completely fair.
Absolutely. He was in the car for a lot of it,
Right.
and there was a lot of planning because they had a lot of tight windows. I've seen Brad Pitt talk about it a lot, how a lot of times because they're there on race day and utilizing the fans, the real
Hmm.
people and everything.
Yeah.
So typically they'll like, okay, we have an 8-minute window to get this shot.
Yeah,
It's
that's
maybe two
crazy.
takes.
Fuck, man. That's crazy.
Or if something, on the first day they were out on the track, it's like if something goes wrong with the car,
Hmm.
like they're not getting it.
No.
Like that's just kind of how it is. Like
Hmm.
they had an insane amount of pressure, and I've seen Joseph Kosinski talk about uh this being actually his most difficult film to make
Yeah.
because he had to work around the framework of the F1 season
Hmm.
versus like something like Top Gun Maverick where it's like, you set the schedule and you're not
Yeah.
working around some sort of league or
No, exactly. And also Maverick's advantage too was it was filmed during COVID. So
right.
their post-production time was so fucking long that they could literally do anything. Whereas F1, because you have limited time with production, because you have limited time with post as well, because F1 is like getting sponsored by this. They want
Yeah,
this film like out at a certain time. They
of
want that
course.
summer release, dude. So I could totally understand why Joseph Kosinski is saying that compared to other films that he's worked on that are more CGI heavy, like Oblivion and Tron Legacy, you know?
Yeah.
You'd think that those would be harder, but no, it's the fucking real life shooting that it's like, okay, we got to figure out a way to do this now or we're fucked.
I think it's amazing what they've been able to what they were able to accomplish. Like Not so like obviously he he pioneered some of this tech with Top Gun Maverick, right? So
Yeah,
he came in using some of the Maverick tech.
right.
But also like the cameras they used for Maverick didn't work for this film
No.
because they were too heavy, so they would affect the speed of the car.
Mhm.
So he literally had to build like the pioneer new technology of
Yeah.
like the lightest cameras that you could get for this
Mhm.
kind of thing to be able to put it on the car and not affect the performance of it.
That's fucking insane, considering, like, you also compare it to, like, car commercials, for example. You know how they get those shots in those car commercials where they're following it and it looks so smooth?
Mhm.
Then you look at the behind the scenes and it's like this fucking transformer on
Yeah.
top of another car. Now imagine, like, you can't do that with an F1 car.
No.
So, of course, they have to figure it out. How light was it? It was the lightest you said, right?
Yeah, they had to literally it didn't exist. He worked with Sony for 1 year
Oh my god.
developing a camera that could work on this car before production. So this is years and years in the
Yeah.
making. I think like a total of like 4 years this movie's
Mhm.
been worked on.
Right.
And it just makes it all that more impressive when you hear about what goes into this. And it's very ambitious. And then
Yeah.
on top of that, it's like, yeah, we don't even have the tech to make this yet. So we need to figure that part out
Right.
before we make this ambitious movie.
Exactly. But I
And,
think from a technical standpoint, it did an amazing job. Like,
yeah,
you can't get better than this. We've said it a million times.
yeah, I think like we could praise the technical of it. It's just really impressive. Also, like I'm not the biggest F1 fan, but I have some friends that are, and
Yes.
I saw this with my buddy Joe, who's a massive F1 fan, watches every race.
Mhm.
And I kind of asked him, he was like kind of my point of reference of like the authenticity of
Right.
like how much do they stick to the sport, right? Because
Mhm.
F1 is a very like it was a niche sport that's kind of getting,
It's still really big in Europe, not as big in North
but
America
it's
as Europe.
getting more
It
popular by the
is.
year. It's like the
Yeah.
most popular it's ever been, and I think it's like continuing to rise, right?
Right,
So I think
right.
this movie comes out at a great time.
Mhm.
I kind of asked Joe like to send me a voice note with like speak on the authenticity. So
I wanna hear it.
we are going to our resident advisor, Joe, on F1.
Hear it.
Part for strategy for the main characters is the very last race where they actually use drag and DRS to get an advantage over Lewis
So I
Hamilton.
asked him about like the
But
strategy,
other than
right?
Yeah.
that,
And
they
was it
kind of over exaggerated a lot of the
Okay.
strategy, as most of it is usually super basic with pit stop maneuvers and
Yeah.
DRS zones. The setup of the car is one thing. They do upgrades throughout the season,
Right.
which then makes most cars faster.
Mhm.
So that one segment where they were upgrading the front wing so they can get a better speed throughout
Yeah.
the corners is pretty realistic. But the strategies where they were deliberately fucking up and damaging the track and the other drivers around them is a big no-no, and
No,
that would get
that's the
people
movie
banned in
making.
most cases.
right. So
I figured the whole Brad Pitt thing where he's like, "Yeah, if I just fuck my car up so badly,
yeah.
then the other guy will." I'm like, okay, that's the cinema talking. That's not the logistics talking.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Joe, thank you for that.
Thank you so much. Hell yeah.
for speaking on the authenticity. So basically, like it's authentic as it can get, but obviously the strategies are a bit exaggerated
Yeah.
to add some more drama to it, right?
Right.
And I think it's really cool to see the strategies play out over multiple races.
Mhm.
I wasn't necessarily expecting this many races in this
Dude,
movie.
okay. Fucking 9 races?
It's kind of awesome.
Dude, I
though.
needed more coffee for this, man. I had a double espresso and I needed more caffeine. That's just me. We
This
can get
movie
into it
blows
more.
by, bro. It's really
2.5
fast.
hours.
It's a fast 2.5
It's
hours.
okay. Let me explain why I'm going into this now. F1, I think the races are really well done. I think my least favorite part is the fucking script. I'm sorry. I'm fine with a basic narrative. Dude,
Uh-oh.
you know I'm fine with a basic narrative. But when it's literally nothing,
It's nothing.
it's just Top Gun Maverick again. It's just Top Gun Maverick again. I'm sorry. Like, Brad Pitt's relationship was nothing. I felt nothing from that. I really wanted more intensity from him. I don't think his performance is as good as you think it is.
What?
No, I'm sorry.
bro.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he did a much better job. He did a much better job
Okay,
in Babylon.
That's a Tarantino movie. These are different levels
Those
of
are acting
dialogue.
movies.
These are different levels of dialogue that he needs to work with.
Yeah, yeah.
What I think Brad Pitt can do in his absolute sleep is this right here. This character.
Yes, yes.
And he does it. Like,
Yeah.
does he? He actually has a lot of bad lines of dialogue to deliver.
Dude.
But because he's Brad Pitt, you can get away with a lot of that stuff, right?
Yeah.
Sure, you're absolutely right. He's better in a lot of other films that you named. But I think he's the perfect guy for this particular role.
Yeah.
And to deliver this particular dialogue, which sure isn't the best. I would say if there's anything that needed a little bit of work, it's the writing of this film.
Absolutely.
But it knows what it is.
It-
It's a
it-
racing movie. They made sure the races were good. And I think they did a decent job with Brad's character arc, at least, or like his character.
I think that the new kid had a better arc than him. And I feel like they should have leaned more into that, in my opinion. Because Brad Pitt, he's obviously doing the Tom Cruise thing where he's like, I'm in my 60s. This is the end of my career. Am I still the good looking action star or even like actor? You know, he's
Right.
definitely getting into that role when he's in this movie. And there's moments that I really wanted more out of that.
Sure.
Instead, he's just like, oh, new kid, you ain't got nothing, man. You don't know what it's like. I know what it's like. Even when I break the rules, I break the rules right. You know, like that's the type of attitude he's throwing at him. And I really would have wanted more just like nuance out of that character. I'm not saying it has to be like fucking Babylon. I think Babylon's a better example of that. But like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like for a 2.5 hour long film, there are a lot of repetitive moments in this movie. From the crashes to the races to the yelling to the Javier Bardem, I swear to God, he tells Brad Pitt that he's off F1 like 5 times in this film. Javier Bardem's a fucking amazing actor. I think he handles the lines better than anyone else.
He's awesome in this movie.
He's
just pulls up in tailored suits every
Yes.
scene, just smokes these line deliveries that like these actors don't have a lot to work with.
no,
It's
it's very
true.
paper thin.
It's true, and I think they assembled the cast to deliver this. And it's like maybe there's a little bit of repetition and maybe they could have they could have added some more nuance and emotion.
Mm-hmm.
But any emotion that's not conveyed in this script
Mm-hmm.
is conveyed well with visuals
Yep.
and the score. Hans Zimmer, ladies and gentlemen.
I think Hans does a good job, yeah.
I think this is a really cool Hans Zimmer score.
Mm-hmm.
It's going back to like some of his origins with a little bit of like that like EDM kind of
Yeah,
vibe,
I really like that.
which is like not really what you expect from Hans. But then
No.
in that final race, you get the kind of classic Hans score
Yeah.
that really heightens everything. And
Mhm.
they wait to use that.
They do. They
Throughout
do.
the film, it's needle drops. It's a combination of some rock music, some UK stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
But then they wait for like a proper film score to end off this movie, and I think I really felt the emotions in that moment.
Mhm.
I think this is a banger summer blockbuster.
I think there are blockbuster moments within this film. Talking about the music though, with Hans Zimmer, I do agree. I'm so glad he came back to the EDM stuff because here's the thing: I'm fucking tired of the Dune soundtrack.
Sure, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
it sounds like Dark Knight. It sounds like Interstellar. Like, dude, he peaked with Interstellar, and then he was just kind of doing Interstellar again for these films, including Dune.
It's true. It wasn't bad, but it's very
Yeah.
similar.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas this film, no, he went back to that EDM. I was like, oh, it reminded me of like Joseph Kosinski's earlier films, like Tron Legacy 2. So it was a nice little
Yeah.
callback. Here's the issue, though. F1 is so fucking big that they have to sponsor every single product known imaginable. There are so many fucking artists on this soundtrack list.
Yes.
I read the list. It was like fucking Chris Stapleton,
Yes.
not Dua Lipa, the fucking other chick, whatever. And I'm reading it. I'm like, oh, none of these songs are going to be in the film, right? They're just like add-ons. Oh no, they're like most of them are.
There's a lot of music in this.
And
film.
I'm like, fuck.
There's a lot of
man.
needle drops that I just wish was more Hans Zimmer
A
score.
lot of garbage pop music, man. And I'm like, I know why they need it because
Yeah.
F1 is like, we need money.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the thing is like there's so many moments where they are real races. There are real moments and the racers are real. When it's so big that you can't do anything too creative. You can do creative stuff technically speaking, but I'm talking the narrative.
Yeah, absolutely. This is a by the books
Yeah.
blockbuster.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Exactly.
But it's a by the books blockbuster with one of the best actors of all time leading it,
Mhm.
and the most impressive visuals, like the literally peak of the genre as far as racing movies go.
Absolutely.
And for that reason, I'm just so happy that this movie gets made, especially at $400 million, because that's what
Fucking
it
huge.
takes
Yeah.
to make this movie.
Mhm.
You know, the cars themselves are millions of dollars.
Yeah. The cars alone.
Yeah, it's insane. And Apple sold over $40 million in sponsorships just for the fictional team, Apex JP. So that's like the logos on the shirts,
Mhm.
the logos on the cars. 40 million
Yeah.
they sold. So that's how this movie gets made, right? It's like you have to get the needle drops and
Yeah.
the logos everywhere and
It's no different than Barbie, to be
no,
honest
it's
with you.
not.
It's
And
it's one of those movies where it's like Barbie. It's like even recently, I'm not saying it's the same quality, but like Minecraft movie. Obviously, that movie is known to it's a commercial movie. F1 is made to get people into F1.
this is the new meta.
Yeah. You know what I
This
mean? And I'd rather it do something a little bit more than like the Minecraft movie. I feel like this is more it's something. It's something else. I'd rather this.
Yeah, but let's talk about that
Okay.
because it is like Barbie, it is like Minecraft, and this is becoming the new met. Like the superhero shit is done, bro.
It's basically done.
It's
It's
in
fucking dunzo.
it's kind of in shambles. I kind of think Superman's gonna bomb. I think you kind of think the same.
I think so too, yeah.
Uh,
Not trying to be haters, but like
no,
I don't hear anyone talk about those films, whereas I hear people talk about the fucking F1 movie.
this seems to be the new thing. Is like just take a recognizable IP that doesn't directly, you can't like directly turn into a movie, but just take the IP and build a movie around it.
Yeah.
That's what Barbie did so
That's
well.
what Barbie did, yeah.
Minecraft, similar story.
Yeah.
And here is one for adults. This is
Exactly.
the dad movie.
This is very much a dad movie. I could see people, and that's the thing. Even if you're not into cars and stuff like that, I think the issue comes from like runtime of this movie. It just went a little too long. Did we need to see that many races? I feel like you could have cut down the races and intensified those races within them. You know, those hype moments could have been even more fucking hype.
Right.
I'm just saying, I'm not saying like a great example I always think about is like a movie like Speed Racer, where visually so eye popping, so
Yeah.
eye catching. There's not one race that feels like it was the same setup as the previous race.
Right.
Whereas F1, because of the time crunch, you're gonna get those, especially if you have 9 fucking races.
Kind of, yeah. And this is also like the reality of the sport too.
Yeah.
Like when you look into it, it's like the reality of the sport is what they're talking about.
Yeah.
How it's not a Fast and Furious street race.
No,
These people are, they know the track. They could literally do the track with their eyes closed.
Yeah.
So you're fighting for tenths of a second,
Mhm.
half a second.
Yeah.
That's the difference between number one and last.
Exactly. And I'm
Right?
glad that they didn't cover, because I didn't know it was 70 laps. Holy
Yeah,
fucking shit. man.
Exactly. And you can't show that. And I
No.
think the editing does a great job of
It
like
does.
showing some cool moments. You always know what's happening throughout this race.
Yeah.
That's a really hard thing to do, especially 9 times over, or however many
Yeah,
times
man.
they do it,
Holy
right?
fuck. At least they cover like the pit stop as well. I'm glad that they established those characters too, because that is a big deal
That
within
is
the sport.
that is a massive deal because you're on the track, you can gain or lose a few seconds total, right?
Mhm.
But in a pit stop, if you can get a fast pit,
Yeah.
that's where you gain time. That's where you gain significant amount of seconds. And in
Mhm.
a race could be a massive difference, right?
Right.
So it shows the importance of the team aspect. And they add in that little character, like that girl who's on the
Yeah.
team who like messes up in the
Exactly.
beginning, and then
Mhm.
she kind of
Yeah, I'm
comes-
fine with that. Like those moments I'm fine with. If anything, my favorite moments of this movie is when it like turns into something that you may not have expected.
right.
Like the first crash with the new kid.
Yeah.
That one I felt it.
Yeah, that was very unexpected.
That was good. When Brad got it, I was like, I don't fucking he ain't gonna die. They're not gonna kill Brad. They're not gonna kill Brad Pitt. If they can't kill Tom Cruise, you think they're gonna kill Brad Pitt in this fucking movie? No, he's gonna live till he's like 85 driving these cars. I guarantee you. But that's what I mean. Like, the movie needed to have more of a pull. Like, hey, listen, what if we did kill the new kid? Imagine that.
I thought there was about 2 minutes where I thought he was dead.
Same. I wanted that. I was like, "Okay, yeah, let's see." And then Brad Pitt's tone changes where it's like, "I don't wanna be the aging guy who's like, 'One last hurrah.' I just wanna do this for the kid, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'll do it for the kid, and then I'm done racing," type of thing. I thought that's what the movie was leading to, and I would've loved it more.
It would have been interesting too.
Right?
And I really did think that's where they were going for about 2 minutes because the crash was intense.
It was yeah, man. I was like, "Fuck." They really went and, like it to me, because Crash is like I always think of Ferrari, that
Right.
crash. That was, like, very out of nowhere.
Yeah.
This one, I feel like, was done better. It was so cinematic, so
Oh, it
beautifully
was insane.
choreographed.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It was really insane. And also like realistic because like these F1 cars have
Oh,
like
yeah.
the most insane technology. Like in the last 10 years, like
Mhm.
you know, nobody's dying from an F1 crash. Like
No.
the 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 car
The
has
safety is
insane amount of safety and protection that like even at these high speeds and flipping over multiple times and
Mhm.
catching on fire, it's like chances are you're gonna live.
Yeah.
Which is like really cool and I guess realistic to the sport. But it did look like they were gonna go there for a second. Like,
What did you think of the Brad Pitt flashback? Come on, be honest with me, man. Come on.
what did I think of the Brad Pitt
Because there's a
flashbacks?
specific famous driver who makes an appearance in this movie. One of my buddies told me about it, and I was like, "No, you're joking." And then we had to freeze frame it online, and we're like, "Oh, that's him."
I think I didn't love the flat, but they don't harp on them too long.
Which I'm glad. I'm
They
glad there wasn't a scene where Brad Pitt's in the locker room as a 29-year-old and he shakes hands with Senna.
yeah
Like, oh,
yeah
thank fucking God
yeah
that did not happen. But you do see Senna in
You
the
do.
movie. Okay.
you do. You do. There's a lot of cameos from legends. Obviously, Lewis Hamilton produced this movie,
Yeah.
one of the all time greats of F1.
Mhm.
So obviously, he had a lot of pull in getting these guys on board, which I think was
Obviously.
really important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, the flashbacks. It is what it is. They had to stop because to me, it was like if he was just this Daytona 500 hick, and then he just went into F1
That would have been
with
a little
no history.
Yeah, fair enough.
It would have been a little bit ridiculous, right? It's like,
we gotta at least try a little bit more. It can't just be
Yeah.
some schlub.
he had to have driven an F1 car at some point
Yeah.
to make this a little bit more realistic. So
Can't
I
be
think
one
they,
of the characters from Fast and
yeah,
Furious.
no, I think they kind of had to do that.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But I do like the opening of this film too.
Yeah.
When he's at Daytona and
Yeah.
just like the kind of character he is, where he's just like, I'll just race whatever, man. Like,
Mhm.
this is just all I know how to do.
Right.
It's just what I do.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, especially the first race with the fireworks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that,
How
like,
beautiful is that?
beautiful. Loved it.
Give me
Loved
like
it.
blowout vibes with
That's
the
what I mean,
fireworks.
man. I was like, okay.
Very- Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but I remember there was a part in one of the races where it was a split screen.
Yeah.
I wanted more of that, man. Do some of those split screens, do some of those overlays and stuff like that, because like it is just a race, like you said.
Right.
How many times can you make it visually interesting or unique? And it's like, well, the power of editing really comes into play there. So I personally wanted more of that within the races, but the races themselves are beautifully shot. So
Mhm.
I'm not gonna complain about that. The fucking relationship, they could have taken that out. Like
All right.
borderline Leslie Nielsen parody. I was like, I could see Leslie Nielsen doing a parody of this film, dude.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you. It's like if we got Brad Pitt, he's got to kiss somebody.
I know.
That's what it felt like.
Yeah. You know what? It would have been more forced if like the new kid and the pit stop girl had I thought they were doing that too.
That was
And I was like, oh, no, don't do that.
they definitely set that up and then just didn't execute it. But I saw that set up too.
Yes, right? Oh fuck, man. I was like, are they both gonna be like
Because there was like that part where she messes up in the beginning and then he like gets mad at her. It was like, oh, of course it was you. So
and
I was
then
like, oh, of course.
maybe he's at the nightclub and then walks out and then sees her there for some reason. I was like, hey, I'm sorry for being a dick, you know.
I was like, one shitty love interest is enough for this movie.
exactly. I'm fine.
And at least they keep it to a minimum. They kind of do.
They kind of do. It's the second half that I'm like, well, we need some meat and potatoes in this part because if we
Right.
don't, then it's gonna feel really nothing when Brad Pitt gets out of the hospital into the racetrack. It's gonna feel like that. And I'm like, okay, you gotta put some time in it to be like, oh, I'm healed up and stuff. When Javier Bardem is telling him how badly he's injured,
Yeah.
fucking I was laughing. I was like, this guy, he's gonna win. He's not gonna die. Like, you could say he has 2 broken legs and he'll still drive the fucking car. Like,
I mean, it sounded like with how bad he was injured before, like he should have been dead.
that's what I mean. Like, he
it
was
didn't really
like,
make any sense. He's like, one crash and you're dead. Well, he just crashed.
Yeah.
So why isn't he dead?
you have
Like-
brain damage. You have everything dead. I don't know how you're even looking at me. Like, it's fine. It's fine. The realism of this film works when it needs to. It's the script
100%.
itself that it's like, I feel like, have you ever watched Rush?
No, I haven't seen
The Chris
Rush.
Hemsworth one? That movie at least had this sensibility of being like, okay, no, we're gonna try to make it real because these are based on real people.
Mhm.
Whereas this movie, maybe the script writer, I know Kosinski worked on it, but there was another screenwriter. They were like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, but like Brad Pitt can still do it, even with a broken neck, even with this, even with that. And then you hear F1 drivers like, what are you fucking
Yeah, I mean, the
talking-
reality is like after these guys turn 40, they don't even have the motor skills. Their motor skills are not quick enough.
Yeah,
The reflexes are no longer quick enough
it's very much
to be
a,
in this sport.
yeah, it's
There's
very
no 50-year-old F1 drivers,
No.
and that's for a reason.
it's very much a Rocky 6 type of thing where it's like
sure.
Rocky Balboa is like 60 years old, but emotionally you should be invested. That's where I'm kind of criticizing it, where I'm like, I'm not as emotionally invested in Brad Pitt's character. That's why I'm like making fun of the fact that he's still there.
No, I just love the Sonny Hayes character though. I just eat that shit up, man.
I think it's I'm going to compare this to Maverick again. The reason why I think Maverick handles the emotional parts better is because you don't have to see the first Top Gun film to feel emotion when Maverick says, "Talk to me, Goose."
Mm-hmm.
Something about Tom Cruise. I think Tom Cruise is just more crazy. Brad Pitt need to be more crazy.
Yeah, and part of it is like the stakes, right? You want to compare it to Maverick. It's like the stakes of Maverick feel very life or death.
Yes.
And this doesn't really get to life or death. They try to do the life or death with the race stuff.
Yeah.
That doesn't work as well.
No.
It really just feels like, he's trying to redeem himself and versus like save the world. And I think that's like the difference, the major difference between this movie and Top Gun Maverick, right?
Yeah, I think it really does come to that, and also just like because Top Gun Maverick didn't have as many flight scenes as this movie had car races.
You're absolutely right. Yeah.
And there's a reason why I feel more for the flight scenes. It's not just because the planes are cooler than cars. I don't give a shit about that.
No.
I don't know anything about planes. I don't know anything about cars. But if you edit it well enough and you have enough races and flights or whatever, the action itself is going to do you better.
Yeah, absolutely.
So less is more in that case, I would say. Not to say, like, I'm criticizing F1 because this was my most hyped film of the year. It's still fucking good. All right?
It's great.
You have to see this in theaters. This is not a home theater type of movie.
That's another great point. I think maybe if I'm watching it on the couch at home,
You're going to feel
2.5 hours, I might not feel like it goes by so quickly. But I'm going to go see this one more time in theaters because this is a theater movie.
It is.
Through and through.
Mhm.
Same as Top Gun Maverick.
I fully agree. This is one of those times where it's like, please do not wait to see this on fucking streaming.
Yeah.
Watch it in IMAX. Watch it in D-Box. Hey, if you have the balls, watch it in 4DX too.
Yeah,
I don't give a
I
fuck.
saw it in D-Box. Great experience.
Yeah.
This is the summer blockbuster to go see. I highly recommend checking this one out. F1 the movie. I'm going to give this movie 4 stars.
Fair enough.
8 out of 10 all day long.
What did you give Maverick? Tell me that, and then I'll give you my rating for this movie.
I think I gave Maverick the same rating.
Okay, good. Okay.
I didn't give it less. I would never give it
Okay,
less.
thank God, dude. I thought I was gonna fucking
No,
die.
no, I would never give it less.
Okay, fine. Fair enough. F1, a lot of great hype moments. Watch in the theater. To me, it only works in the theater because of how fucking intense it is. A little long for me. Could have cut down 30 minutes. I give this 6 out of 10, 3 out of 5 stars. It's still 3 out of 5. It's still good. Oh, fucking Nathan.
I'm sorry, Brad. You don't deserve this.
Whatever.
Anyway, that is our review of F1. Let us know how badly Neves is wrong in the comments below.
Okay.
Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe to your boys, and we'll catch you in the next one. Take care. Brush your hair.
Peace.